We must now go see... Back to the Terrace. Terrace.
Ah, there you are. Yvonne and I have been working on your conundrum. I have some good news and I have some bad news.
Let's hear the good news.
Well, to begin with, we have found a way to safely separate Vair's soul from your body and put it back into his own while expelling the parasite that is latched onto him.
What's the bad news?
The bad news, I'm afraid, is that the artifact you need to put Vair back into his own body is rather far away, and may not actually be where we think it is. You see, while investigating, we encountered two principal problems. Removing and transporting another creature's soul is actually rather simple if you have the appropriate knowledge or equipment. I've done it myself on several occasions. The problems are that Endandravair's body is already inhabited by a living creature that may have some control over it, and furthermore, we do not know how much damage this creature has inflicted on Vair's body, nor whether removing the parasite forcibly would do even more. For all we know, removing the creature would kill Vair's body, and trying to put his soul back into it would be, well, pointless. He would simply die as any other creature does when their body expires. To address this, we tracked down an artifact known as the Rod of Alignment. Its relatively simple, if exceptionally powerful function, is to set things back into their natural intended state. It can only do so on a limited scale and needs time to recharge, but it should do the trick.
What's the catch?
The catch is that, like I said, we are not absolutely sure about where it is. We just have a very good guess that will at least put you on the artifact's trail.
Will that be enough on its own?
Yes, though depending on how powerful the parasite is, you will likely need to weaken the creature before the artifact can extract it. Living things can resist magical effects, but weakening the target will reduce its ability to do so. The rod was last seen in the possession of Myastan Kimmerin, a morally dubious dragonborn druid. Without getting into too many details, he was last seen with it in Icewind Dale when going to speak to a storm giant friend of his who lives in the area. There have not been any reports of the artifact since that visit, though Kimmerin has certainly left their mark on various places without it in the intervening time, so we think it may have been left in the storm giant's keeping. If not, then they may have an idea of where to find it.
Where exactly is Icewind Dale?
It's far to the north, beyond the spine of the World Mountain Range. It's about a 1,200-mile trip from here.
Jesus Christ!
You're kidding. It took me nearly 2 weeks to come even a tenth of that distance.
Yeah, I probably should have included that in the bad news category.
Who is Myastan, exactly?
Myastan is his dragonborn clan name. Kimmerin has made a name for himself by protecting wild places and, well, destroying or sabotaging anyone that threatens them in any way. He has hurt a good number of people with his rather extreme methods.
And how are we supposed to get this giant to help us?
I don't know. That is for you to figure out. I'm sure that a resourceful duo like yourselves can manage.
We should get going then. Any recommendations for getting to Icewind Dale? Preferably within this century?
Well, there's a ship heading north in the next day or so. I arranged passage for you, though you will have to find other ships heading north on your own once this one stops in Waterdeep. Shouldn't be too troublesome.
No
Yeah.
fucking way! Waterdeep? Waterdeep! Oh! Okay, now I'm excited.
Oh, and one last thing. One of our occultists was able to identify those grinning creatures that you have encountered. They are called Gru, and are part of a large, mysterious category of creatures commonly called Starspawn. Whatever their purpose is here, it cannot be good. The few times the Starspawn Gru are mentioned in our books usually labels them as minions, shock troopers, and harbingers for even greater evils and agents of ancient mad gods. How they came here is unknown, but their very presence is troubling. The people working with them probably worship whatever elder god the crew serve. I suspect that you have found a cult of the Old Ones, which may explain why the man in the mask was interested in the devil cultists you found in Adro's Tower. They would likely have similar goals and could be using similar resources.
Oops, shit, too low.
The sage seems to be fairly composed, but he could be concealing something. It's hard to say.
What else can you tell us about these things?
Unfortunately, not much. Very little is known about them other than that they come from a place beyond the known multiverse. Mordenkainen himself never dared travel to their home, as it is a place beyond human reason or understanding. Simply going there would destroy a mortal, or at the very least drive them insane.
What might they want with Endandravayir's body?
It's impossible to say. Many creatures that come from other planes have been known to open more portals to their homes and thereby facilitate an invasion. Theoretically, since dragons are tied to the very nature of magic in our world, they could use him as a focus for anchor point, though they would also need his soul for that, since the soul is what really ties dragons to Faerun. It could be that they simply need a host large enough for the parasite. There's also the possibility that they have taken his body to their home plane, in which case there is nothing we could do.
Thank you for the information.
Limited as it was. You see, while investigating, we encountered... I've done it myself on several occasions. The problems are that, for all we know, removed to address this. It can only do so on a limited scale and needs time to recharge, but it should...
You sure there isn't a
well, you could perhaps gather a group of exceptionally powerful clerics to simultaneously heal Vair's body while moving his soul, but that would be a delicate process requiring multiple powerful spellcasters, provided they're even willing. Simply finding and recruiting such people could take years.
Will that be enough on its own?
Yes, though the rod was last seen in the possession of... Without getting into too many details, there have not been... If not, then they may have an idea of where to find it. Oh, and one last thing. One of our occultists was able to identify those creatures that you have encountered. They are called Gru, and are part of a large, mysterious category of creatures commonly called Starspawn. Whatever their purpose is here, the few times the Starspawn... How they came here is I suspect that you have found a cult of the Old Ones, which may explain why the man in the mask was interested in the devil cultists you found in Adro's Tower. They would likely have similar goals and could be using similar resources.
Thank you for the information.
Limited as it was. Keep this with you as you travel. You can use this to contact me from anywhere in Faerun at any time. If you're in dire trouble, or if you encounter something that might be very interesting to me, use that. Otherwise, abuse this privilege and I will sever the connection permanently. Now go down to the docks and you will find passage on a ship heading north. Good luck.
Oh shit. All right, let's do this. I still can't jump off the ledge.
Need a lift?
The voyage north is long, and you discover an intense dislike of the sea, as you find yourself repeatedly clutching the ship's railing and spewing out various meals into the waves. As the voyage continues, the air also grows colder, as settlements and cities along the coast become fewer and far between. By the time the captain tells you that your destination is near, you have already started counting how many seconds it takes for your puke to freeze against the hull of the ship. Looking up from the railing, though, you see a dark shape looming through the blowing snow, and something about it that has nothing to do with the cold causes you to shiver.
Ah, I see the prison inspector has caught your eye. Best hope you don't find yourself going there anytime soon, unless you have business.
What is that place?
It's called Rivel's End, in Harp's name if ever there was one, as I've not known anywhere bleaker or more devoid of joy. There is a prison built to hold the worst criminals that mankind has to offer. Whether the sorry souls stuck in there deserve it or not, well, I can't say.
Again, prisons. How is it that humans are so taken with prisons, cells, and confining each other? It's unsettling.
Why build something like that all the way out here?
Well, the nice and fancy folk don't want no reminders of the dirty and dangerous people that they've locked up. So they put them as far from civilization as you can imagine. Care Dinnerval notwithstanding.
How much farther until port?
Not much farther at all. See, there's our harbour. Just keep heading along that there path and you'll find your way to Care Dinnerval. Not much of a place for southerners, between the cold and the rough company, but you'll find shelter from the blizzards, and food. Good luck, wherever your journey takes you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, what a miserable place.
How are you cold? I can hear you shivering. That doesn't make sense. I'm the one who has to walk through this.
Oh, maybe because I am not simply a passive observer, and I am actually sharing your body. How many times must I explain this?
Right, but shivering? I thought you needed your own body for that.
Never mind. Why would anyone choose to live in such a dismal part of the world?
Judging by what the captain said along the way, people who either don't want to be found, or have nowhere else to go.
Lovely. Well, if we are to keep our visitors brief, I would suggest finding the nearest bartender or such who might have heard rumors of a giant.
All right. Not again. I'll come back for these when I have more money.
I haven't seen you around before. What do you want?
Friendly.
you heard anything about a storm giant in the area? I'm looking for one that's supposed to live nearby.
Storm giant? That ain't like a frost giant? Or do you mean a stone giant? Because we got plenty of those up on our spine. I sometimes wander this way to hunt and raid.
No, I mean storm giant.
Then I've got nothing for you. Though you could always ask Kel, your goat kicker. She's been around a fair amount, one of those adventurer types, always looking for mercenary work and places to explore. You can usually find her down by the lakeside docks.
What can you tell me about this town?
Other than it being a hive of scum and villainy, you got the castle up the hill, the lake we fish knucklehead trout out of when it's not frozen over. And that's about it. All that's left after the rest of 10 towns after the incident some years back. Even the rogues of the world don't want to stay here if they can help it.
What incident?
Great white dragon came through. His breath was so cold, it froze the sap in the trees so hard the wood exploded. Shattered people as they tried to flee. Took a band of adventurers hired from Kalimshan to finally kill the thing. But by the time they did, 10 towns was in ruins. Everyone just congregated here in the end, since Caer Dineval had the least damage, though that's not saying much.
Have you had any disappearances around here? Strange sightings? Anything?
It's Icewind Dale. People go missing in the storms all the time, and monsters come down from the mountains and the tundra every day. Still, if you mean anything outside of that, no. Can't say as I've heard anything. People who get lost in the storms are either found within a week, alive, or turned into a walker. And the monsters are the same as ever. Then again, I did hear that something's been going on with the dwarves up in, Kelvin's Cairn. Lots of rumors and stories coming from them, though I don't think they've had any misfortune themselves. Just heard things through the grapevine.
So long.
Seriously? You're not even gonna buy a meal or a room? Ugh, wasting my time.
Oh, hello.
Are you Helia?
Who wants to know?
My name is Katra, and I'm looking for a storm giant that's supposed to live in the Dale. Have you heard of anything like that?
Storm giant. Oh. Well, I'd be lying if I said I knew exactly what you're on about, but well, my partner and I did see something right queer in the mountains about a month back, and it was definitely giant and definitely stormy at the time.
Any details you can give me?
Hi. There's a trail on the opposite side of this lake, right across from us. That goes up into the mountains, as called the Spine. A blizzard started blowing around one of the peaks in particular, just a few years before I showed up here. Never let up once, nor moved. Storm just sits there, blowing away. My partner and I, we thought we'd go see if anything were up that way. Thought maybe we'd find some magic item or a wizard or something causing the storm. Maybe knock some sense into them or get some loot from the expedition.
You seriously risked life and limb thinking that there would be treasure there just because a storm had started?
Even if we found no goodies, we might have been able to see what was causing it. Maybe get the town's mayor to pay us for the information or something.
And what does this have to do with the giant?
I'm getting there. So, after about an hour marching through the storm, we hear this voice in the blizzard saying, "Turn back," and "You'll die here," and some such. We weren't about to pack it in, though. Thing is, the snow was getting so thick and high around us, we could hardly even walk, and it was getting dark. We tried to find shelter, but just kept getting turned around in the storm, and we were getting right cold. Cold to the point you don't feel no cold no more. It wasn't until I hit the ground and everything started going black that I realized I was freezing to death. But then, next thing I know, I'm awake. My toes and fingers hurt something fierce from the frostbite, and my whole body was stiff, but there I was, lying next to my partner. We'd been taken all the way down the mountain to a little cave, and someone had even set up a fire for us. But here's the kicker. There weren't no footprints around us. Nothing in the snow. 'Twere the wildest thing I ever seen, and I still ain't been able to figure it out.
You said like a mum. You mean the face was a woman's?
Oh, far as I could tell, real flat. Smash nose. Though, but I was about delirious from the cold, so don't take that part of the story too seriously.
Where's your partner now?
Mickle. Oh, the cowardly bum had enough of adventuring after that incident. He's working as a miner up in Kelvin's Khan with a bunch of our kinsmen now.
Any advice for someone looking to climb up there?
Yeah, don't do it. It was a daft idea, and by all rights, me and my partner should be dead. Might not be such a trial normally, but that blizzard will spell the end of you.
She's clearly told this story a number of times, so it's hard to say how much of it is rehearsed exaggeration.
Thank you for your time.
Well, that is at least a little promising. What say you, Patra?
It's the only lead we've got at the moment, so it's probably worth investigating.
I could ride a horse.
I should warn you, in case you did not already know. Dragons and giants have a long-standing rivalry that verges on hatred, depending on the parties involved. Storm giants are known as goodly, if stern, creatures, but regardless of this one's disposition, it might be for the best if you do not mention my presence or involvement.
Ah, something else to complicate things. That's good to know. Thanks.
Hello!
You tread a dangerous path, human. If you have come to rob or hunt me, then I hope that you have made peace with yourself.
That Contra is a storm giant, and one who has ascended beyond the restrictions of their body, it seems. They aren't just controlling the storm around us. They are the storm. It is a part of them. Be careful.
Speak now and tell me your purpose in coming here, lest I blast you off the side of the mountain. Well, to be fair, I wasn't entirely sure what I would find up here. No one seems to know that anything, much less anyone, lives up in this mountain ever since the storm started. Child, I am the storm, and you had best state your business before I sweep you away like yesterday's snow. Do you know a druid named Myaston Kimmerin? No. Should I? Do you know of any other storm giants in the area? No. I live separate from my people. Are you the only one who has lived here in the last few years? Yes. Well, there are accounts of Kimmerin visiting a storm giant friend in this area, and if you are the only one here, then that must be you. Brock! I told him to check for scrying, the fool. Fine, what do you want with him? My friend has been infested with a parasite that has also displaced his soul. We were told by the Sage of Magic at Candlekeep that his best hope is to find the Rod of Alignment, which was last seen with Kimmerin. And what if I refuse to help? What will you do? I could ask really nicely? I mean, I'll beg if you want me to, but that feels a bit degrading. No, there is no need to go that far. Perhaps I can find it in myself to compromise them.
Let's go.
This is a powerful item that you seek, and not something to be handed over lightly. Though perhaps you will do. Very well. I indeed possess the rod, and am willing to part with it in return for a
Of
favor.
course.
The druid who last held the rod is indeed a friend of mine. Kimmerin, however, has a tendency to use force to protect the wilderness and its creatures, rather than negotiate. The Lord's Alliance decided that they had suffered his vigilantism long enough, and have imprisoned him in the great fortress they built nearby, known as Revel's End. I cannot enter that bastion, as its magic wards me away. If you want the rod, then you must find a way to free Kimmerin. Once he is with me again, the rod will be yours. Will Kimmerin be dangerous to me? Only if you give him a reason to think that you mean harm to either him or the wilderness. Otherwise, he is quite personable. What has he done to get imprisoned, exactly? He defends the wild places of Faerun. Anywhere that wildlife and nature are threatened, he goes to protect it and eliminate the threat. Sometimes that means destroying a band of marauding orcs. Sometimes that means destroying a duke's mining operation. What is the Lord's Alliance? Even I, in my isolation, know what it is. The Alliance is an agreement between various rulers and their lands, most notably those of Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and Silvery Moon on the Sword.
No fucking way. Neverwinter? Oh my god. This is straight from some of the D&D books I've read.
They were founded as an act of solidarity to keep the armies of evil at bay, and thereby protect the common folk. Coincidentally enough, protecting the common folk also protects these rulers' power and other interests.
She is used to keeping her own counsel, and it seems that leaving you in the dark is to her advantage, as you can read nothing on her face.
A prison break to set free a dangerous environmentalist vigilante? Count me in. Well then, perhaps Kimmerin has found a kindred spirit in you. A last warning to you. Beware the prison, for it is not just a trapped and warded fortress. Something has changed lately. I have not seen the guards at their outposts for nearly a week, and there is now a ferocious flying creature there. Every time I've tried to approach since its appearance, it has beaten me back, rather severely at one point. I do not know if the jailers have summoned it as an additional guardian, or whether it is there for other reasons. But be wary of a dark creature with bat-like wings. Hope that you do not encounter it. Good luck.
That is all a rather tall order, and none of it too encouraging. At this point, the best we can do is probably to investigate the prison, see if we can identify some of its defenses and any gaps therein.
Just kind of stole a horse.
No sign of that creature that Nalkra warned us about. Can you discern anything noteworthy?
There is too much to look at from too far away. You would have to get closer to make out anything.
Forcing our way in isn't going to be an option, I don't think.
No, I think you are quite right about that. Perhaps we can strike a deal with whoever runs the prison. Barring that, simply seeing the inside might give us some ideas about how to get Kimmerin out. Still no guards? You would think that someone would have stopped or questioned us by now. I do not like the feel of this. Make sure that the front door stays open and unlocked too. I do not wish to be trapped in here. See what you can find through that hole. There might be another passage or something similar. Something to lead us out of here. That looks like it connects to the door in the entryway, and judging by these notes, most of the rest of the prison, too. It seems to be a full containment and lockdown system. Everything is barred and sealed. Perhaps there has been a prison riot or some revolt? Messy as that may be, it could provide a good distraction for getting inside and extracting Kimmerin. There. Now let us get back into the open and hope that we have not released all the prisoners or endangered the guards. That would...
What was that? Oh, what are these things?
What are demons doing in a prison? Devils and now demons. Encountering both in such a relatively short time is seldom a good sign. Either you are cursed with rotten luck or something is brewing. Unless Revel's End is taken to enlisting monsters from the Abyss as guards, something has gone thoroughly awry. This is becoming increasingly distressing.
What is the Abyss exactly?
It is one of the lower planes, a seething pit of madness, rage, and destruction. Its endless layers are populated with demons of all shapes and forms, varying in intellect and cunning, but uniform in their desire to wreak chaos and kill. The Abyss is reckless, thoughtless evil made manifest.
How worried should I be about this?
Very. If there are this many demons in one room, then there are likely to be others. They were likely summoned and then broke free from their summoner. If the summoner was particularly careless, they may have left a portal open, through which more demons and demonic spirits could enter our world. Unfortunately, I think that the lockdown we just lifted may have been the only thing keeping them here in the prison.
Oh, great.
Do you think that Kimmerin has anything to do with them being here?
I doubt it, unless Kimmerin were presented with a too tempting opportunity, was consumed by vengeance, or had simply gone mad. He would not risk summoning. They would do as much damage to his precious wilderness as any human host would, polluting and tainting the land with their very presence.
How likely is it that the prison's keepers have summoned these things?
Unlikely. The Lord's Alliance may be only as good as their interests allow, or as benefits them. But they are intelligent enough to know that summoning demons for help is an often counterproductive and deadly proposition. They would forbid such practices within their institutions, including this one.
Any advice going into this?
Yes, don't die, and get out as quickly as you can.
Good advice.
Helpful.
As we go, look for evidence of a cult like the one we found near Candlekeep. If we find who or whatever created the portal, we may in turn discover a way to collapse it.
I wasn't looking at my health. I was not looking at my health at all. I don't know why I was completely ignoring my health.
powers of spellcasting are unanimated, or they've been possessed by demonic spirits. With him, but you might still want to search this room. See what you can find.
You find a journal bound in plain, cheap leather. You sort through the room, but nothing catches your eye.
That looks like it was probably the warden. Their body is no longer their own. No choice, no movement, not commanded by something else. A puppet. Nothing to be done, no helping them, nothing. All. Just break what is left. Break the shell. Break the puppet, and it will be over. There. There. It is done. Good work.
Are you okay? You sounded a little lost for a while there.
I am fine now.
That seemed to really affect you. Do you want to talk about what just happened?
There is nothing to discuss. We must continue. Keys. Find the keys.
You sift through the shards of bone and scraps of torn clothes and armor until you hear a jangle. You retrieve a ring of keys, each of which is inscribed with runes and magic formulae. You would never have opened the cells without these.
Yeah, they don't respawn.
Oh, the jingling of keys. Now that is a welcome sound. Certainly better than listening to screaming demons, anyhow. And who might you be? I see no uniform. You don't look like a demon to me.
My name's Katra. I'm here to get you out.
Are you now? Well, that's nice, but I find it hard to believe. Still, very well. My name is Mayastan Kimmerin. What do you want with me exactly?
Nalkra sent me to free you.
Oh, finally. She said she would figure something out, but I'd given up on her once the demons appeared.
What happened here? Why are there demons and where are the guards?
How much information do you think I can get while locked up in a stationary cell? Well, a fair amount, actually. About a week ago, there was an alarm. Like, if there'd been a prison break. But everyone was running toward the bottom level and someone shouted about a portal or something like that. Almost none of those guards came back. And those who did were being chased by all of the lovely creatures you've encountered here yourself. My best guess is someone opened a portal to the abyss, lost control, and was subsequently killed. Judging by the state of this place, it seems likely that the portal's still open too. As for the other guards, well, I wouldn't think about it too hard if I were you.
Will these keys get you out?
Why, yes, they will! Glad to see someone thinking ahead. That being said, I won't be going anywhere while that portal's still open, so you'll have to go find my magic focus, too.
Where would I find your focus?
There's a lockup somewhere for inmates' possessions. Get the warden's keys, and you should be able to open whatever box or closet you can find.
How did the portal open in the first place?
I haven't the faintest. Perhaps one of the guards was secretly a demon worshiper and agreed to let his friends in. Maybe someone just got careless with some other ritual, or were tricked into enacting the wrong one. Maybe someone sneaked in. Trust me, I've been scratching my head over this since it all started.
How are you and some of the other prisoners still alive? Wouldn't the demons have torn you apart by now?
Oh, trust me, they've tried. Multiple times. However, these cells are reinforced magically on the outside, and have constantly active anti-magic fields on the inside. Demons cannot teleport in, or shoot fire, or whatever at us, nor can they rip the doors off. Ironically enough, these cells are the safest places in the entire building, so far as I can tell. It'd be relaxing if I didn't have to listen to the occasional blood-curdling, inhuman shriek echoing through the halls.
Can you actually close the portal?
Oh, I should be able to. Even if I haven't been able to cast them, I could still prepare spells while locked up in here. Had a few things that could work at the ready just in case I ever got the chance. That being said, I'm starved and weak as a kitten, so I'll still need you to clear the way and take care of whatever's hanging around the portal before I'll risk exposing myself. I'm our only chance of nipping this crisis in the bud, after all.
I'll be back soon.
Okay, I'll be here.
You see that, right? That's another one of those fuckers. Oh my god! I don't know what those things are, but I hate them. I hate them so much.
Hey, Vair? We haven't been using your magic site as much, but I haven't seen any evidence of a cult or any other religious...
I needed to pick that up!
Aside from what's needed to keep this place running.
Hmm? Oh, yes, strange.
Vair?
Just get us out of this prison.
Yeah, you see, these guys weren't here last time.
Oh, my focus. Excellent. Have you cleared the path to the portal?
All of the demons have been killed.
Oh, you even took care of that big, bat-like thing? That one looked particularly menacing. If I'm being entirely honest, I nearly peed myself when it stopped by to try to get into my cell.
I'm sorry, the what?
Oh...
Nokra mentioned some sort of flying monster before we came, but we haven't seen it yet. Do you think it's still here?
Oh yes, I saw it just yesterday. If it hadn't flown off by then, something must be keeping it here. My guess is it's feeding off whatever energy's coming out of the portal. Or perhaps the lesser demons coming through, treating the portal like a fishing hole. Well, if that thing's still hanging around, then it will probably rip me to shreds the moment I try to seal the portal. I'll find a place to hide, or maybe just stay in this cozy and very safe cell until it's dead or driven off. Once you've done that, I'll close the portal and we can get out of this place. I would guess it probably perches somewhere up high. Might want to start searching the upper levels.
Not to say that this game has a few bugs.
Wow, I've never actually been up quite this high. Is this what it's like for you? Viewing the world from above while flying? Everything spread out so endlessly.
It was.
Any chance those specks are dangerous or harming anything in the area?
What a lucky day this is. The two souls have come to be packaged into the same body. I was getting hungry.
It can sense me?
And hear you. Yes, I must say that it is a delight to encounter a soul as rich and potent as yours, noble worm. I cannot say that in all of my centuries I have ever consumed any of your kind who are older than mere adolescents. Young and tender, yes. But their souls do not have the potency that yours does. And all of this without contending with your fiery breath and iron-hard scales. Oh, you are most generous in coming here, so exposed.
The monster seems to be almost shivering in anticipation as it flexes its claws and bares its teeth. You get the sense that you might only have time for one question before the thing's patience runs out.
How did this portal open?
You do not know. Neither of you. To think that even such a wise beast as a dragon would not know the happenings and patterns of his own world. How little have you paid attention to what is around you? Don't worry though. Luckily for you, you will not have to face your deity's judgment when I am done with you. Death will be the true end. Once I devour your souls. Not even a shred of you shall remain in this universe. So, down into the abyss, mortal. Dragon soul. I don't have to go through you first.
Ooh.
Even if you strike me down and destroy my body here, I will simply reform in the abyss. And when I do, and when my master carves a path into this world, nothing will stop me from hunting you down. Your souls.
Final boss much? This is final boss energy right here. That feels like some final boss energy right there.
Well, that just happened. Let's head back to Kimmerin.
Oh.
Oh,
was downright unsettling. Still, the deed is done. However, I fear that what magic I could work here today was limited and will only be a temporary solution. Once I have some rest, though, I can return and enact something more permanent.
Could you use the Rod of Alignment to keep the portal shut? Put things back the way they're supposed to be.
That is a good idea, but I do not know how to say this any more clearly than to say that the portal being open is how things are supposed to be.
What?
It seemed to have opened on its own, naturally. I've heard of such phenomenon, but never seen it. I suppose we just got unlucky. Using the rod, though, would just reopen the rift, I'm afraid. Nothing can ever be easy, can it?
What about the other people still in the prison? It will be some time before more guards appear to help them.
Oh, I plan to free them all. I cannot abide by anything being trapped against its will. If these prisoners prove to still be dangerous to others, though, well, then it will be my responsibility to find and eliminate them. Lots of work if that happens, but I'll manage.
If they hurt people after you let them out, then you'll be just as responsible for any damage they do.
True, but I cannot punish someone for a crime they haven't committed yet. I'll just have to wait and see.
How can you trust them to not do whatever it was that put them in here to begin with?
Hopefully, they've learned from their mistakes by now. That being said, I will also make it very clear what will happen if they cause too much trouble.
Are you ready to go back to Nokra now?
Oh, once I've had a bite to eat, sure. There must be something around here that hasn't rotted or been gnawed on by demons. As soon as I'm rested, though, I'll turn into an air elemental or a snowy owl. Something. Fly to Nulkra's cave. I'll be there long before you.
Stay safe, then. Would have hated to go to all this trouble just for you to get eaten by a crag cat or something on the way back.
Yeah, well, the benefit of being a druid is that I can always turn into one of them if they try. Maybe insult their mother to get them to back off. You wouldn't guess it, but they're surprisingly touchy about their moms, crag cats. Never you worry. I'll see you there.